Sad, sad day when they announced that they will no longer be making the Micras here in Canada. 2019 was the last year. So today I'm going to be going over the Nissan Micra lifespan here in Canada and why it has come to this point. Before we start getting into the tragic life of the Nissan Micra, don't forget guys, I do videos like this all the time. Subscribe to Cars Unlocked. If you have any questions about the Micra or any of my other videos, do not hesitate to ask me in the comment section below or send me a DM on Instagram. Feel free to follow me if you want to look into my personal life a little more. When we discuss the Nissan Micra, we need to start with its humble beginnings here in Canada. And this is the first time in my car sales life that I've actually seen a vehicle come and go at its manufacturer. I've been selling cars since about 2013, and the Nissan Micra was brought to Canada in 2015, and now it's discontinued for 2020. So we need to go back and look at the beginning as to why, to discover if it's failed in Canada or not. The car that I'm sitting on is a 2017 Nissan Micra, but it was brought to Canada in 2015. With a ton of success throughout Europe, it was branded as Canada's least expensive or cheapest new vehicle. In sales, I don't like using the word cheapest, we say least expensive. It was branded as a $10,000 vehicle. The MSRP on the entry-level Micra was $9,998. This attracted a ton of people to the Nissan dealerships because they were looking for an inexpensive, brand new vehicle with a full warranty that you get when you get the new vehicle, instead of going out and buying a pre-owned car. However, the sales on this did really spike, but it wasn't what everybody imagined. These S model Micras came with manual windows, a manual transmission, manual locks, no Bluetooth, no air conditioning. It was really a basic trimmed down vehicle. So customers were a little surprised when they walked in the door and I showed them that S Micra, and they don't even get power windows with their brand new vehicle. There was also a little bit misleading because they thought that it was really $10,000, $9,998. However, once you added the freight, the dealer fees, the PDI fees, it was really more like $11,000 to $12,000 depending on where you were. So a little bit of customers were disappointed in that. There's also a matter of the financing and incentives. Most new cars, Nissan has lower interest rates and incentives to purchase the new vehicles. However, this was also not the case with that S model Micra. When it first came out, and up until maybe 1 to 2 years while it was still out, the financing rates were extremely high. Usually it was about 4.9 to 5.9% if you wanted to finance the vehicle, as opposed to some of the other Nissans or some of its competitors that were offering 0% or 0.9%. So when you worked it out in payments, it was very similar in payments to, for example, the Nissan Versa Note, which was a little bigger than the Nissan Micra. It was very easy for me to flip customers from the base model Micra who came in looking for that $10,000 car. And when I worked out the payments on a 0% Versa Note, the payments were almost $10 to $15 apart, and you got much more of a vehicle with the Versa Note. So the advertising wasn't really what it seemed at launch. However, it did do what Nissan successfully wanted to do. They wanted to attract new people to the Nissan brand, and it did get people in the door. Is getting people in the door really a positive if they walk in the door and feel misleaded right out of the gate? You tell me in the comment section. Nissan spokespersons have stated that the success of the Micra was to attract people to the Nissan brand, and over these 4 years they accomplished what they came to do, getting new Nissan customers excited about the brand and making new loyal customers for many years to come. I sold a ton of these Micras, and they really sold great when they first launched. 2015, 2016, I was in new car sales and I did sell a lot of them. As I mentioned, it was easy to flip customers to other vehicles like the Nissan Versa Note for similar payments, but I did actually sell a lot of Micras. The one I sold the most was not that $10,000 car, however. It was the SV model, which is like the one behind me. Came with power windows, automatic transmission, Bluetooth for your phone. You could get a backup camera convenience package. So it did have a little more features than that base model, and that was the majority of the one I sold. Even to this day, selling the Nissan Micra is my favorite car to sell. However, I don't think it's for a positive reason. It has become my favorite mainly for a negative reason. The reason why it is my favorite to sell as a salesman and as a finance manager is because a lot of my customers that I sold those Micras to have already come back within 1 to 2 years of purchasing their vehicle and wanting to trade it in and upgrade to a bigger or a different vehicle. It means another extra sale for me, but the customer does have to upgrade. Despite those negatives, there are a lot of positives. I'm quick to talk about the negatives about the Micra, but some of the positives were phenomenal fuel economy. It was averaging about 6.8 liters per every 100 kilometers on the highway and 8.6 in the city. This vehicle, when we checked the fuel meter, it was averaging about 7 liters per every 100 kilometers. So phenomenal on fuel, especially with the gas prices rising. A lot of Canadian customers saw that as a positive. A very trimmed down engine, 109 horsepower. So it didn't have a lot of pickup, but that's not really what you were looking for. It's great for urban environments when you're dipping in and out of parking spots. Some Nissan customers are afraid of the CVT transmissions as they read reviews online, which a lot of you like to comment about. This one just came with an automatic transmission. So if people read reviews and didn't want to go with the CVT, we could show them the Micra and it would just have a regular 4-speed automatic transmission. And with that 4-speed, even though it had 109 horsepower, it did have quite a bit of pickup. Throughout the later years, sales started to stagger for the Nissan Micra. And there was a lot of combinations to why this was. Most Canadians did prefer SUVs and crossovers. The crossover market was really taking over the Canadian automobile industry. And even Nissan became a factor and became a player in this game with introductions like the Nissan Qashqai and the Rogue being very, very popular. Really took a lot of the Micra sales out as people wanted those all-wheel drive SUV and crossovers. I also feel that Nissan didn't really change the Micra at all. I'm going to show you 4 different vehicles and all of them are going to look the exact same when you look at the exteriors in the pictures here. However, they're all different years from 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018, and there's even a 2019, which is the newest one from Micra. You can see they're all the exact same cars despite the trim levels being a little different. Interior wise, nothing changed with the vehicle either. Same basic display throughout four years. You didn't really get anything new when you jumped into the Micra. 2015s look the exact same as 2018 models, and like I said, you couldn't tell them apart from the naked eye. Even with new technology coming out, things like Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, they didn't really add that, which is really what the type of target market that will buy this Micra are looking for. A little more technology for the cheaper vehicle. However, really the only change that they made to the interior was in 2019 they added the backup camera because that was mandatory for all vehicles to have a backup camera. So no changes to the interior. The display looks like it's from early 2000s with the gauges. So they've done away with the Nissan Micra and they've done away with the Versa Note and they've replaced it with the vehicle behind me, the Nissan Kicks. This vehicle wasn't really in the same target market that the Micra was attracting. It's not under 10,000, it's not even below 20,000. However, it does offer what we're looking for here. A lot of nice technology, newer safety features, and a lot of interior and cargo space. If you want to see the direction that Nissan's going with their hatchback segment, check out my full review of the 2020 Kicks on my channel. I'll put it in the description. It's also going to pop up right here, and you can see how Nissan is taking the next step into the hatchback market. So some of you racing fans might be thinking, what about the Nissan Micra Cup? Well, I think they've done away with that. They said they have 1 more year in the contract there, and they're going to do one more race. What that was a Nissan Micra exclusive only race where drivers could only drive the manual transmission Micra, and it really attracted new customers to the Nissan brand and really helps show off the power capabilities of the Nissan Micra and the maneuverability. But that's going to be no longer. I wonder if they're going to do that with the Kicks. Let me know if you want to see them race around in the Nissan Kicks. So to answer the question, did the Nissan Micra fail in Canada? Well, when reading articles online and doing some research, Nissan spokesperson says it was a success because they attracted a lot more new people to the Nissan brand and entered a segment that they weren't in before. I think that's bullshit. If something's a success, you're not going to stop doing it. Right now, my YouTube channel is a success. I'm not going to quit right now and say, oh, it was a great success. I'm going to keep going. They say that they have a ton of Micras for sale. Don't worry, Nissan customers. We have a ton of 2019 still left. you can still purchase a 2019 Micra in 2020. What that tells me is they didn't sell a lot of 2019 Nissan Micras for some of the reasons that I commented on earlier. So why say it's a success? Why not admit your failures and just move on to the next thing? But from a business perspective, I can see what they're doing. But in my opinion, if you're not going to continue to do something, it's not a big success. So as we wave goodbye to the Nissan Micra, don't forget to ask me any questions below. Did you own a Micra? What were your thoughts of it? I'd like to know. Are you sad to see this car go, or could you do without? Don't forget to subscribe to Cars Unlocked, guys. That really helps me out. Give me a thumbs up on this video. If you have any questions, ask me in the comments. Thanks for watching.